Episode 115, Ironman 70.3 Calgary with Rebecca McKee. Welcome to the pursuit of the perfect race. I'm Coach Terry Wilson, and with each episode, I bring stories of athletes to you that share their experiences at races in order for you to learn how to have your perfect race. We will hear stories from athletes of all ages, abilities, and races of all distances. So regardless of where you fit in, there's something in it for you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let the pursuit begin. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the pursuit of the perfect race. Today I have the pleasure of talking with my friend Rebecca McKee about her recent race experience at Ironman 70.3 Calgary, where she had a time of 4 hours, 40 minutes, 35 seconds. This race took place on July 29th, 2018, and the temperature on race day was 72 and rose to 84, with this being a wetsuit legal race. Rebecca has been doing triathlons for 18 years now, and she has been coaching since 2004. Welcome to the show, Rebecca. I look forward to hearing about your race experience at Ironman 70.3 Calgary.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So what made you want to do this race?
Well, I was pretty excited about the flat, fast course. I'm not a flat, fast course person. And after talking it over with my husband and my coach, decided to go and see what I could put up for a time on a course like this. And also, straight up, I was hoping to qualify for Nice very early in the season to be able to plan for Nice. And so that was a goal as well.
Nice. So how is your training going into this race? You've been doing this for quite some time. You're very familiar with the build cycles. You're familiar with going into races prepared. How was your training?
I am currently actually training for Kona. So I'm qualified for the Kona Ironman World Championships this October in 2018 and qualified at Ironman Arizona in 2017 where I won my age group. And so for me, we've had a high focus on Kona. I'm also headed to South Africa for the Half Ironman World Championships. And this year doing it a little differently with actually picking up the Half Ironman World Championships and then going into Kona, whereas last year we skipped the Half Ironman World Championships. So I've had a lot of load. I've been racing quite a bit and the load's been really high. And we kind of really did use this race as a train through, kind of a speed workout for an Ironman training day.
That's awesome. So going into this race, what was your longest swim, bike, and runs say 8 weeks before this race?
Oh, geez. I did a 5.5 hour bike ride the Saturday prior to this race, which here in Alaska with the weather that we had was about 85 miles of biking. And then I also ran 16 miles the Sunday before this race. And I also swam about 3,800 the Wednesday before I flew to Calgary. So I'm in high, heavy Ironman training load right now.
Okay. Now, as intensity is increasing and volume is increasing, how are you mitigating the risk of injury?
That would be my masseuses. So I have some really amazing people that keep me moving and keep me going. And I'll just say this for all your listeners. If you don't have this type of group of people in your life for any level of racing at an Ironman distance, you are not going to be doing this very long.
That makes sense. Now, did you do any workouts that gave you the confidence to go into this race prepared?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I work with an amazing coach, Cliff English. He's one of the best coaches in the world. And I don't really even think that's just my personal opinion. I just know it. And I probably haven't shown up for a race not prepared since 2011.
Wow.
Like this man, the confidence that I have, and it's something that I really work hard as a coach for my athletes as well. I never want my athletes to go to a race feeling unprepared or not ready for that day. And I absolutely feel that way when I go to most races. I very rarely show up to a race that I don't feel very prepared and ready to be at.
Okay. So with your training, are you doing a lot of brick training?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I have hip issues, and so I don't run as much as people probably think I do. I don't run off the bike a whole lot. And when I do, it's actually, 20 to 30 minute runs. And mostly at the longest, I would say maybe an hour and 15 off the bike. So not a ton of brick work just because of what it takes to recover from that for me.
That makes sense. Now, what was the most hours that you trained in 1 week going into this race? I know that you're in a full Ironman swing right now, being that that's about 2 months out now. So you're really heavy on the volume already. What was your volume looking like?
Well, I probably had a 22-hour week 2 weeks prior to Calgary. And I had just come back from 70.3 Coeur d'Alene. I raced in Coeur d'Alene the end of June. And the beginning of June, I raced at the half Ironman in Hawaii. And in May, I raced at the 70.3 in France. So I've had a lot of volume where we've done heavy, long endurance work and then shortened things up for the half Ironman distance. So I would say that probably just because of where it landed, 22 hours about 2 weeks prior to Calgary. Okay. And I had a pretty heavy week this last week as well, simply because where we're at in Ironman training schedule.
Right. Now, were there any days where you just mentally didn't want to train?
Oh, yeah. Geez. I think that's, does that happen? And you're not, if you've done an Ironman, then you know. Yeah. I mean, even last weekend, I was just, it's a lot of load. And especially for the level that I want to race at and compete at, it's a lot of load. Yeah. There's definitely days like that.
So how do you get past them?
Well, I talk about this quite a bit as well as a coach. I think you have to have a very deep sense of why. I think if you don't understand why you're in this sport, or you don't understand why you want to do these things to yourself, or why you're out there, and it is different from what, like, it's different from what drives you or what the goal is. It's your why. And I have a really big sense of my why. And it's funny because everybody asks, maybe your next question will be why. And I don't really share it. I'll just say that for me, it's really super personal. I have a very spiritual connection with the island of Hawaii. It's really important to me to race there and do well there at any event that I do there. And I just feel a really strong sense of passion to this sport and the people that I've met in this sport and the friendships and the families. And I mean, where do you get to spend time with the level of athletes that we get to spend this type of time with at these venues and really get to know in any other sport? I just truly have a real sense of what my why is.
Okay. Now, if we take a look at your training, you're training 22 hours a week on some bigger weeks. You're sleeping around 50 to 56 hours a week. You're working 20 to 40 hours a week, and you also have a husband as well that you spend time with, assuming. How do you balance life, work, and training?
First off, let me tell you this way. I have amazing time management skills until I don't.
What do you mean?
I guess what I mean by that is that first off, I work well under stress, and I do well with scheduling out my day. I mean, I coach a large number of people. I work with people all over the world. I work in all different time zones. I probably don't sleep as much as other people. I work at, all hours of the day. My clientele, when they come on with me, they know I'm very clear with them about the fact that I am, one of the board of directors for our triathlon club. I am a race director. I do work with, all these different individuals all over the world. I do coach people. I do have a husband. I am an elite triathlete. All of these things are very clear. And so I think that I find the right group of people that understand who I am and are able to work with me instead of against me. I also am really, really lucky that my husband is an avid cyclist and really one of the most supportive people in my world. And he spends a lot of time with me. He does 5-hour bike rides with me. He goes on 4-hour rides with me. He does 2-hour runs with me. So luckily for me, a lot of my time with him that wouldn't be spent together, we do get to spend together. And I just also think that I do a lot of planning and scheduling. I schedule my workouts into my work day so that for me, they're appointments that I have to keep to myself. So I think that it just comes with a lot of planning.
Okay. Now, if we take a look at your training, how much of your training was outside versus inside? I know that you live in Alaska and the training up there is a little bit different.
Well, I don't swim outdoors in Alaska. I just don't. I don't stay warm enough. It's miserable for me, and I very rarely do ever swim outdoors. So almost all of my swimming when I'm in Alaska is in a pool. I do almost all of my riding outside, unless it's just really miserable weather. And at this point, I do not run indoors because of my hip issues. I kind of have a little bit of treadmill anxiety, and I try to only do shorter runs on the treadmill. and slower runs on the treadmill. So I pretty much train outdoors for almost everything at this time of year. In the winter, I kind of move to an indoor track, which is miserable to run in circles when I'm in Alaska, and then I get on the trainer.
Okay. So do you use a road ID when you're outside?
Yeah, actually, I do have one.
Good. Good to hear that. Now, to transition a little bit, talk about the race here. When did you start tapering for the race, and how was your taper? What did it consist of?
I did not taper for Calgary at all.
Okay.
Like I said, I had that 5.5 hour ride the weekend before. I had that 16-mile run. We really heavily loaded like the 2 days before we flew. So I had a pretty big swim session the Monday after the long run. And then Tuesday, things were just a little bit lighter. And then Wednesday flew. And then, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those were all kind of days where the load was really super light for the race. So no taper for this event.
Okay. Now, whenever y'all got to Calgary, did you get an Airbnb or a hotel? What was that like?
We stayed in one of the hotels for the race venue, and it was actually really nice, super easy. The meeting was downstairs. The bid pickup was downstairs. It just made things really easy. We were literally a 5-minute walk from the venue. So it was just really easy.
Nice. So what was your last workout before the actual race?
I rode my bike on the race course just to see what was going on with it, because I don't know if I really believed it was going to be 1.9% grade change and 254 feet of elevation change. And then I got out there and I was like, yes, this is the flattest thing I've ever been on. So, and equally proved to be a good thing to do, because I really understood the wind as well after doing that ride.
Okay. Now, once you actually got to the day before the race, what kind of nutrition plan did you have, and what were you wanting to eat the day before the race?
So I have all kinds of weird nutrition issues and stomach issues, and I've learned the hard way over many years, spending hours throwing up on the bike and, totally cratering on the run. And so I basically stopped eating about 7:30 the night before the race. I don't do anything. I don't carbo load. I don't do any of those types of things. I actually probably increased my sugar intake, things like cookies and things like that, a couple of days before the race to get a little bit more sugar in me and a little more carbohydrate stores. I don't eat any fruit or vegetables a couple of days before the race, because all of that comes back to haunt me. I eat nothing race morning. That's actually what I do even for an Ironman. So, 7-ish, 8-ish the night before, I typically do, some plain Jane chicken and maybe a baked potato, maybe some French fries, and that's about it for me. And then it's game day. Okay.
Now, what kind of sleep are you trying to get the night before the race? Are you trying to get in bed pretty early? Do you have race day nerves still? What is that like?
The only race that I kind of still have a lot of race day nerves is Kona. And it's just because, if you haven't been there, I'm just going to say it's one of the most amazing experiences you'll ever have in your life. And don't give up trying to get there. I'm just going to tell everybody that's listening, just, if you have goals and dreams to get there, keep working at them. And so for me, I don't have a whole lot of race day anxiety anymore. I worry about strange things that you can't control. Like, what if I get a flat tire? And, what if I come into transition and my shoes aren't there? Weird things. And it's stuff that I can't control. And it's things that I'm like, stop it. You can't control that. But the things that I know I can control, and I've been racing for so long, I know that these days when things don't go right, you can stay calm and make changes and still adapt and still have a good race. And so for me, the night before the race, I try to get into bed early, but I'm still probably up way too late. And then I always wake up without the alarm, wake up 3 or 4 times, look at the clock. You're like, oh, 1 more hour. Oh, those types of things. So for me, the 2 nights and 3 nights before the race are probably more important for sleep.
Okay. Now, to get a better picture of all the equipment that you're using, walk me through your gear.
So I actually do this little race morning, race day checklist. That's a mental process. And what I do, and I actually do this with my athletes, is I go through this scenario. So, and this is actually what I do. I get up and I'm like, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to put on all my liquids. So the liquids are things like, gel or body glide, lotion, sunscreen, things like that. Things that are going to keep, your body moving. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like sunscreens. Lube. Yeah. Lube. There you go. So it's all my liquids, right? And then I'm going to put on my race kit, and then I'm going to put on my chip. And then, so I have typically my blue 70 wetsuit, and I have my cap and my goggles. And when I get out of the water, the cap, the goggles, and the wetsuit are going to come off. And then I've got my diamond bike, and I want to make sure that my power meter's on and that I've linked my power meter. I've got, my race wheels. I've got all my nutrition. I've got my helmet. And then from there, when I come into, my shoes, I come into transition, my helmet's going to come off, my shoes are going to come off, and I'm going to put my run shoes on. I'm going to put my visor on, my race belt, and that's it. I'm going. It's really pretty simple of what I have in transition. And the least I have to think about, the better. So I don't bring a lot of extra anything in.
So less is more.
Yep.
Gotcha. Now, you get up on race day. What is your race day morning ritual like?
Well, probably the same as most people. I always get up, I take a shower, I get my hair put back so that it's out of my way, and try to go to the bathroom like everyone else on the planet. And I like to get to transition not very early. I don't like to stand around stressing out with people. I really don't enjoy being around the individuals that are really hyper stressed. And I have to tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves is listening to people talk about how they're not ready. Like, I don't want to have a conversation with somebody about how they're not trained, they're not ready. For me, I'm like, what are you doing here then? Right?
If you ain't ready, why just go back to the hotel room and watch.
Right. So I think that when people talk to themselves like that, they're convincing themselves that they're not ready. And I think that for me, I don't want to be around that negative energy. So I literally try to get into transition. I try to get my stuff done. I want to get my kit on, my whatever it is I'm going to be wearing to get out in the water, and I want to go. So these venues where you have to wait around for your wave and things like that make it a little bit harder. But if I can get into transition and be in the water 30 minutes after that, that's about perfect for me.
Okay. Now, you're using a wetsuit, and this is a kind of cold swim of about 70-ish degrees or so. Pretty cool day. Were you wearing a sweater or anything like that before you got into transition or got into the water or changed into your wetsuit or anything?
Ask me that again.
Okay. Did you use sweaters or like a jacket or anything before you actually got in the water?
Well, I'm from Alaska, and I don't like to be cold, but it is funny how many venues I go to that I'm cold at. But for Calgary, I was very comfortable. I was very happy with the temperatures.
Okay. Now, whenever you got to transition, how much PSI are you using in your wheels?
I think I was right around 90 for this venue.
Okay. And for this venue, you're using a disc and an 808 front?
Yes, I was.
And you didn't feel like that was overpowering you with the wind?
Oh, no. There's a lot of chatter out there about wind and deep dishes and things like that. And the reality is that it's almost, it's the front wheel that's going to push you around, not the back wheel. All your weight's on the back wheel. So I will ride a disc at every single venue that it is legal. And I will go as deep as I can on the front as well, especially in the wind.
Okay. Now, you get to your spot where you're going to get into the water. Are you taking any last-minute nutrition before you hop in the water?
Yeah, about 30 minutes prior, I always do a gel. And that's typically either a goo or power bar gel, which they don't make anymore. So I've coveted all of mine and literally only use them on race day.
Wow. Now, the gun goes off. Where are you at in the swim before you actually get in the water?
So this was a different venue because we started in the water about waist deep, and it was a 2-lap course where we had to get out of the water and get back on shore. And truthfully, it's one of the worst swim venue starts and worst swims I've been in a long time. And I think that this venue needs to go to a rolling start, and I'm not sure how they can do that in regards to having the lap on the beach. So I don't know how they can fix it, but it was really dangerous. It was really scary. I'm kind of a panic swimmer, so I can't get out in the front anymore. I have to stay a little bit back and calm myself down and get going. There was a lot of contact in the swim, and we ran into all the waves that went out in